now we're sort of in the TV business. We're sort of partners with them, or they're buying all their movies exclusively from us, and I'm dealing with the guy over at Playboy, and they're buying the movies from us. And then we're talking, I'm like, you guys, what you should do is you should really buy Spice. That's what you should do. And because that's where the action is. Adult Vision is good, but Spice has better distribution, and they have a great brand and people know them. So ultimately Playboy decided to do that, but Christy Hefner she was just gun shy when it came to the adult business. She didn't like it. She didn't know it. That wasn't Hef's thing, I know he liked adult movies, but Playboy was their own model, their own thing, So they convinced her to buy Spice. Well, by that time, Spice had this little company. It was called Spice Hot, and it was explicit, and it was XXX. No anal, XXX. And they had a little bit of distribution, but not a lot. And but she wanted nothing to do with hardcore. So so when they bought Spice at the same time, they sold us Spice Hot, just that little hardcore business. And that was, it wasn't really $1 million. It was money, but plus it was, we would buy movies from them. And so it was a bigger package. It was a bigger agreement.
Less than $1 million, maybe you're saying?
No, it wasn't that. It was that it wasn't just money. There was more to it than just money. It was money. It was plus a guarantee that every movie they would buy, we would get the explicit rights, but we would pay them for that. And then if we buy,
for me, that's one of the most exciting,
stories,
business deals, and
So, anyways, so we took over Spice Hot, and we immediately started selling it, and we went to DirecTV and Time Warner in New York were our two big hits, because we knew if we could get one of them to take hardcore, everybody else would fall in line.
Is this a year after you get it, or right away?
Right away.
1991?
Yeah, I mean, they are already, they already have some small cable systems around the country, very small. So they had a little bit of a track record where we could say, look how this outsells everything else. But when you're dealing with big companies like DirecTV or Time Warner, they have boards, and it's not simple to get them to buy into it.
How did you do that?
That was really my partner, Bill Asher, did that. He was the one who would head up that team, and they went in and they had a relationship with DirecTV, and he knew the guy at DirecTV, and ultimately they were able to convince them to put up an explicit channel, and that had never been done before. So that just, it exploded, and our numbers were, 10 times more than Playboy. And we were literally slowly putting Playboy out of business, out of the TV business, because they just couldn't compete, because, people always want more. If they're getting cable, they want hard. If they want hard, they want anal. If they get anal, they want, 97 girls. It's like, right. It never ends, right? Yeah. So it's always more. So we were literally starting to put them out of business, and then Playboy came to us and said, hey, we need to buy that channel back. We can't afford to not be in the explicit business. Now, after DirecTV took it, then Time Warner took it. When Time Warner decided to take hardcore, people were picketing outside their offices, but it was great publicity for us. And to Time Warner's credit, they never flinched. They made a decision to put up XXX, and they stayed with it, and they never took it down. Good for. But they're a big company. I mean, what was adult at its heyday? Was it what, 3% of their revenue? They're big companies. So, but they made that decision, and they never flinched. And yeah, they made a lot of money with it, but I don't think they were going out of business if they didn't do it. And so Playboy came back to us and said, look, we need to buy this back. So we came to an agreement, and I think when it was all said and done, it was close to $100 million. And that was it was only 2 years between when it started and when it ended.